Max, you can't talk much because you're still making notes.
Of course I can talk. I'm a multitasker,
Mm.
I can do. I'm a Superman, Should I change my name here on the podcast instead of being a
No,
common
I'm
roach?
the
I'm
RC
just
Roach man. You're the common Roach, Max.
no. I'm gonna change it. It's gonna be the RC Superman.
I love
Right.
it. I love it. Roach,
Back on the pod.
you're all swirling from pollen.
The record pollen count here in Georgia is killing me slowly.
But last
I
time
didn't
you was
even
on her,
realize.
last time you was on her, your mom got an accident, and how's she holding up?
She walked away with a couple bruises, but she's up to full functionality again, so we're good.
All right, well done. Congratulations to Kate's mom. Time to hit that intro. We got some things to talk about. We got a big race coming up, so I'm just gonna get into it.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right. And let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 bill. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to show number 314 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great. Oh, to my very far left is a Roach RC of Roach RC YouTube fan. Are you famdom? You know,
at this
almost
point,
10,000 subs.
Femdom. Maybe it's femdom.
Fandom.
Fandom, Max, not
Yes,
femdom.
Max.
That's a
Okay.
that's a kink.
But
I know what it is, but that's what Keenan had first in mind.
no, fandom.
Okay.
Almost to 10,000 subs. Welcome back, Roach. Hopefully you get to hang on. You get to stay here the entire time, and hopefully we watch you de-swell.
Yeah, I can feel it going down.
It has
basically.
since I've been on her. And over to our immediate middle here, who's now changed his name to the RC Superman, who was late, as usual, in his Thug and Smurf costume, Mr. Max Mort. Hello, Max. How are you?
I'm all right. I've been extremely busy. I've been doing all kinds of stuff, including school. So not a lot of time for podcast, but I've been following the RC sphere here and there on the social medias. I'm getting a bit excited for next season. Even the man himself, JQ, he hit me up last week asking for some details about the e-buggy. So yeah, seems like the season is almost here.
Seems like you're climbing that totem pole. You're now
maybe.
you're now from
Who
that
knows?
just on that ground level, just above ground
Yeah,
to that first step. Sounds good.
maybe.
Sounds good. All right. Well, good to have you two back. Before we get started, everybody, I want to say a big thank you to all of you guys out there, the NNRC squad. Without you guys, none of this is possible. We're on our own mission to hit 7,000 subs. We're getting closer and closer. I mean, obviously, I'd like to get more than that. But check them out. If you haven't hit that like, sub, and notification button on our channel or on Roach's channel, make sure you hit that, please. It helps us out. If you're listening to us on the audio only side, thank you very much. Leave a review and come over and hit that sub, like, and notification button as well, and give us a share. Help us grow. Also, a big shout out to all the patrons of the NNRC and the YouTube members. You guys get early perks, such as early release of these podcasts. Probably not this one, maybe this one, probably. But thank you. If you guys wish to support us a little bit more, you can. Links for that in the written description. Also, Roach has a Patreon as well. Go over and support him. That helps him make cool videos as well.
Become a channel member.
Or become a channel member. Exactly. Same as us. We have the, I gotta call it channel member. It sounds so much better than YouTube member. YouTube channel member. And we greatly appreciate it. Also, a big shout out to these companies. Without these companies, we can't make it possible. We have some affiliate links, some coupon codes for these companies. HiTec's about to give me a coupon code as well because they're doing direct sales as well. I've got some cool HiTec stuff coming as well. But big shout out to J Concepts, HiTec, Sidewinder, Latara Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Hot Race, Tires, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, BeachRC.com, Racecraft USA, Klinik RC, and Get Shit Done Coffee. We have a promo going on for that too. So I think you could get, I think it's 20% off, if I'm not mistaken, off your order. And we got a little slice of that as well. We have all the links for that in our written description, plus some more affiliate links as well. For Call RC, you get some money off that. Cade has a Call RC link as well. If you want to use either of us, let us know. It helps us out a lot. Also, a big shout out to our drivers, Mr. David Ronnefeld, Robert Battier, Alexander Hagberg, who came fourth at the Euros. I just saw that. Matty G, Pecco Evening, Una Hotman, Mason Fuller, and that's it. You know, I something to add. We're all hyped up about PNB, but you know what else is going on during PNB?
No idea.
World's warm up.
Oh, in
Australia,
Portugal.
Australia.
Oh yeah, 10 scale world form.
yeah, like Rivkin and all them guys are going on today. I forgot about that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Also, birthdays. I had some birthdays here. Let me check, see if I can find them real quick. If I missed your birthday, I do apologize. My boy, Sergio Suarez, Feliz Cumpleaños. Tyler Jones, T. Jones of Sparko fame. Happy birthday to him. Hugo Tavaron, I don't think he listens to this, but happy birthday to him. Alejandro Fagando, Peter Secco, Ryan Chu, Brett Wilson, Don Winkelmeyer, Chase Lyman, Mason Templeman. I haven't seen him race for a long time. Derek LeBouf, Brad Houch, Charlie Heiser, JC3. Just dropped a podcast with him. That's doing pretty good. Hope you guys liked it. Happy birthday to him. Daniel Adams, Chris Vieira, Eli Miller. Ooh, we got lots of birthdays. Kevin Hebert had a birthday. Enzo Albertoni, Jerry Godou, Kyle Turner, Justin Fales, Ryan Freud, Trevor Erlins. So lots of birthdays. If I missed it, happy birthday to you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Lefty, because you missed mine.
I missed your birthday. That's right. But I didn't miss it on the day of your birthday.
That's what matters more.
Day to you, Cade.
Thank you, Lefty.
I can officially still be your dad. No problem. By far.
Oh my gosh.
25?
25, yeah.
Yeah, you could have came around at 22. No problem. That's not a problem.
I always forget that we're the same age. Your voice is so much more mature than mine. You know, I get the Morgan Freeman vibes from you. You know, it's like you're telling me a story of how we should live our life. You know, so I'm all like,
if I did that,
25.
I'd lose subscribers.
Morgan Freeman.
No, if I try to tell people how to live their lives.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but it sounds like, you know, there's coming some real
Shakies.
wisdom.
I'm gonna shakies you already. We're 9 minutes in, and I'm already got to use a safe ride on you. We're gonna drop that commercial for J Concepts. Thank you, J Concepts, for all your support. Shakies. righty. Thank you to J Concepts for all their support. We greatly appreciate it. Quick catch up. Roach, you went racing this weekend. You got some exciting news. You've also been making content. Tell us about that real quick.
So to start with small, I went racing last night at my local track at local velocity complex, and it was pretty fun. But the big news is that I was accepted into the Mayako youth program, or as a mentor specifically. And now I'm going to be helping out a couple of youth drivers in the Mayako program in the Southeast. One of them is a good friend of mine. It's Luke Yarborough. He came, I think it was fourth. No, he came third in E-Truggy at the Southern Indoor Championships, and he made the A main in Sportsman in at SICK as well, both using old stuff. But now I'm a mentor, and yeah, that's pretty much the main thing with me right now.
Oh, that's cool. And you're going to PNB.
And I'm going to PNB, yes.
That's right. That's this weekend. Well, this coming weekend. It's Sunday that we're recording now. So good to have you back on, Roach. And we'll be good to see you at PNB. And congratulations on the mentorship. I know that's something you really want. So you made a commitment to a brand. It's been a while. Like, I've met you. I think the longest I ever saw you stick to a brand was Associated.
Yeah.
So congratulations on making a commitment as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right there, Mr. I don't know what to even, Mr. RC Superman. What have you been up to? School, yes.
A little bit of school, but I'm helping for the party to run for the city council. So that has taken a lot of my time. So yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing alongside school. And I'm starting my thesis soon. I should have been doing more of that, but time is limited. And now I'm here. So.
Max is foraying into politics. Oh boy.
I have been for a while, but now they have the county election. So
it's just like the party of we want to save all trees and chain ourselves and lay down in front of bulldozers and do all that type of stuff party.
No, I don't think we have a party like that anymore. There's just good old parties. The Left Alliance.
How about stopping planes from taking off?
No, I mean we don't have parties like that anymore.
Story. I'll tell you that story another time, Roach.
Yeah,
even got video.
We don't have parties like that anymore, unfortunately. So
I'll tell you that story.
All regular. Okay.
Max knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. Well, good to have you back. You have been busy because I've been messaging you and you don't answer. You're getting more and more like JQ. I get more answers from JQ now than I do from you.
Yeah, but the difference is that I actually have shit to do. I don't know what he does. I
actually had a really good podcast with him. Really good podcast.
Yeah, I listened. I listened to some of it. It was actually good.
He did very good. And lots of positive things going on for Mayako, Invisible Speed, and all of that right now. So well done, JQ. I myself, obviously I wasn't planning on being at PNB, but now I am. And I was actually going to be home all this time. So I kind of had to scrunch in a lot of stuff in the last week, plus have some time for myself, have my kids. And what I've been geeking out on lately is off-roading or overlanding. Like I have a Montero now. I bought myself my own vehicle. So there's a little all-terrain vehicle, tires on it. I've been geeking out on that and just geeking out on stuff. It's a big off-roading community here in the DR. So I don't know, maybe one day in the future, I'll be able to do something like that. It's something I've always wanted to do. And we can't do that in Bermuda because you don't have the mountains and rivers and all that type of stuff. So, and we don't have no big vehicles like that. So been doing that, hanging out with my kids, recording for both this. And of course, you guys know I'm doing the Power Wheels podcast. Actually just recorded with a cool guy who owns young guy from California, a surfer dude named Nick, who owns Ryder Toys, which is a company that imports ride-on vehicles. And it was actually a very good chat with him. Very smart dude. He's only a few years older than you guys, but he's worked on a pretty damn good thing for himself with them ride-ons and just a cool, positive dude. If you guys haven't checked it out, go check out my Power Wheels podcast. It's all about modifications of Power Wheels. If you have any kids that are into that stuff, check it out. It's actually pretty good. It's a whole let me tell you something. So the guy, Alan, is like JQ of this. So here's the one that's doing all the RD. So he's been sending me videos of what he's doing because he's RDing one of these vehicles that this guy Nick makes to make some improvements. And I mean, it ain't diff settings and shock settings and all that stuff, but it's R&D that goes into the stuff to make it work and turn it on. And that's what he does. Like, he's created a whole industry around this. Like, I know you guys don't understand what I'm saying. Most people don't until I dove into it. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, it's pretty big. All right, enough about that. But yes, we've been all kind of busy. Obviously, I'm off to PNB next weekend. And I have a couple races in between, North Georgia Shooter. And then I go to Portugal at the end of the month for the IBC, which should be good. Looking forward to that. So lots of travel for Lefty. Podcast, we're going to have to try and scrape them in between when I have some time. Maybe a live show from PNB. I've been threatening to do one for a long time. I think I'm going to do one for finally. All right. Well, before we do that, let's get into some of the topics of this podcast. Nothing really. We're going to do some RC news. We have some topics to talk about. We just had the EFRA 12-scale European Championship. We're going to quickly talk about that. The FEMCA Championship, the ABC race, PNB's coming up. RC Pro Series. I'm going to give these two young bucks a little history lesson on RC Pro Series. That brought up some memories last week with the release of the Klinik RC spoke tires. So we have a few things to talk about. We're going to try to get through this as fast as possible for you guys. So I say let's just get into that. And the RC news is brought to you by HiTec. Looking for top-tier performance and reliability in your RC setup? HiTec has you covered with industry-leading chargers and servers for both surface and air applications. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, HiTec's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high-torque servers to smart, efficient charging solutions, just HiTec to keep you in control. HiTec, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit HiTecRCD.com. They do have direct sales, and I am working on a coupon code for you guys so you can save some money. Hopefully, I'll have that this week. And I had a meeting with HiTec, so they're working on some new things too. So we'll see what all happens with there. All right, I say we get right into the nitty gritty. I think one of the biggest announcements, and I kind of knew this was coming, and it sparked a lot of nostalgia from me and many old school racers, was Klinik RC, Jaden Edmonds, releasing the spoke wheels. Does anybody have a picture of them? I thought you had a picture for them, Max. You know, you could do
let me
I thought you were supposed to have that already.
I almost
Let's
have
see
it.
who can
Just-
pull it up
just-
first.
No, I have it already here.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
RC Superman already failing the first test. All right, so Max has
All
it.
right. We have it. We have it right
I
here.
just pulled it up.
All right. So, okay, you wanna talk about this, Keelan? Because
I want to talk about this because
I've seen spoked wheels before, but it was never a thing when I've been in RC.
I was just about to say, you two probably got into RC, and there's many people who are listening to this podcast who have recently gotten into RC or RC in the last 15 years, I would say, that I've never seen spoked wheels like this. But back in my day, back in the 2004, 2003, 2004, 2005 era, these are the wheels you would buy. I will tell you what, J Concepts, I don't even think at this time was making tires for 8 scale. I don't think they were.
Yeah, most likely not. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were not. No. Or at least they very started.
They might have been doing 10 scale tires at this time, but they weren't doing 8 scale tires. So basically back then you had Proline and Panther, who were the two hot tires fighting each other. And then you had tires like Treads, and they were basically from Europe. These everybody had them, but they had different names. First,
GRP,
yes, the GRP tires. Yes. All those type of tires. So back in the day, you used to be able to buy wheels. You would buy Offner wheels. So Offner wheels used to come in a pack of 6. Don't ask me why. You'd buy a pack of 6, so you could get a good bit of wheels out of them. Then Tony came out with Advantage Racing, and he was selling these. And I remember buying these and using these all the time. And you just wasn't cool if you didn't have these on your car back in the day. They were a little smaller diameter, but this is good times. And he's re-released them.
Back in the day, it used to be that everyone ran the smaller diameter. but then I think it was Proline. I don't want to say it was Proline, but there was some manufacturer who came out with bigger wheels, and then basically what they did was they just allowed the people to run the bigger wheels, and then I mean, bigger wheels, it's more surface area. It's better, it's faster, you get more traction and so on. So the smaller wheels became obsolete. And I think Tony even wrote on his post that, it was too expensive then to make a new mold. And that's why they the era of the spoked wheels ended, I assume.
Pretty much. I mean, there's been other spoked wheels since then. I'm not saying there hasn't. J Concepts has Rolex and Proline had some, but these are what you ran. And this is Advantage Racing, man. This is back in what I like to call the attitude era of RC, like the heyday of this is like, man, this is my era of RC, right? So this led to that video that Tony posted, the five spoke films, the doing it in the dark and all that type of stuff. So this is, remember, like, you go watch that video. I don't know if you guys watched it, but that's before you had cell phones. This is like before you had.
I mean, you had
phones.
you had cell phones, but you didn't have like a touch screen.
Yeah, you didn't have smartphones and all that stuff. And this was
Yeah, that BlackBerry phone.
I don't even. Yes, they probably did. They probably did. They probably had the BlackBerry with the keyboard and all that type of stuff. But I was watching that video and it brought back a lot of memories. Looking at the RC Pro Series, looking at all the Truggy tires the Truggy tires were all mismatched because it wasn't actual. The Truggy had just kind of started 2004, 2005, so they were coming out with the tire rules and all that type of stuff. That was a great video. Great times. I actually did RC Pro Series, and we're going to talk about that in our thought of the day at the end. Well, I think RC Pro Series awesome.
I did watch the video, and I edited the video.
You did? You're welcome, because I suggested you. I didn't know that you did that.
Yeah, I was the one who did the. Well, if you go to Klinik RC's YouTube channel, you can actually see the video that I did. New release Klinik RC spoke wheels. And that was me.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well done. So, I know I know what everybody's thinking. We've had dished wheels for so long. RC racing has changed since we had these wheels. I need to talk to Tony about it because he's been testing them. So he's been. I want to know if it has. He says no. He told me no. Max, you think it does? Does it make a difference?
Yeah.
You think it does?
Well, okay. Like,
I'm talking about,
put it this way. I don't think it makes a handling difference so much. But I
mean in the air.
Yeah. No. I don't think even in the air.
Really? Okay.
The thing is that when you have spokes, there will be more turbulence on the wheel. Because like the tire will be rotating a lot. Your car will be moving through the air, and then it won't be a flat surface. It will be like you will have these spokes. It's kind of like you have a rotor or a propeller or whatever. It works like that. So it has some like turbulence like that. Now, will it make a difference in our cars? No, it's not significant enough to actually make a difference. If these cars went significantly faster or something, perhaps. And if it's like really windy, might even be a little bit better. Who knows? But I mean, in theory, yes, there's a big difference between having a flat surface at the wheel, because you will not get that, turbulent air from the spokes. But here, no. Then about like weight of these, theoretically, it would be better to have non-spoked, because you could do the spoke but just add the layer. But then again, like, the difference here is Tony has spent so much time on these wheels and tested this wheel for so many different iterations that most likely just because of that research and development of these wheels, it actually could be better than the other wheels. So
I'm looking forward to seeing them at the track.
One thing that I saw that I was thinking about, another driver brought up, was Jared Tebow, was that with spoked wheels, you can tell, it's easier to tell when your wheels are locking up when you brake than if you were to have dish wheels.
That's a good point. Yeah, never even thought of that. But that's actually a really big thing when it's slippery, because sometimes you don't know why um you're losing or not steering into corners or losing the rear or whatever. So yeah, that's actually a good point.
That's why some people used to like put a line on their wheel.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
wheel
but that
box.
looks ugly as hell.
I know. So no, you don't have that. It's gonna be interesting. I look forward to seeing them out there at the tracks. It's gonna be different. I haven't seen them for years. It's gonna be way different for you guys when you see them out there. We might see some at PNB. So well done to Klinik
I mean,
RC.
I when I started, people still ran spoke wheels, so it's not like an
Mhm.
unseen thing, but it's just like I never ran them.
Mhm.
I never ran them
Yeah,
either.
many various different spokes as well. Often had its own spoke wheels. Kyosha had its own spoke wheels. So it's many different iterations. I wish Klinik all the best. I think he's taking pre-orders for him, and it sounds like it's going pretty good when I was talking to him. So we want to get you guys some spoke wheels in yellow or white, and they are up to specs now on all the tires and everything now. So they've been made bigger. He went and made them the diameter bigger. Hit up Klinik RC. We have links for it in the written description of this podcast. All right, up next is the Team Corelli SBX 825 8-scale competition buggy that I have it right here. So the first person that we knew about racing this was actually the dentist. No, the person who makes teeth from Monaco, Mr. Oh, what's his name?
Thomas Musso.
Thomas Musso. He
Yeah.
he is racing this car.
Yeah, he's been
Was.
racing it for I think for a year already, because it was 2024 Montpellier where I was like, hey, this is not an HB, because he used to run for HB. So I was like, that's not an HB. And then I looked like,
Mhm.
what car even was that? Turned out it was a Corelli. They had, because Corelli makes RTR cars, kind of like Arma.
Mhm.
So they had transferred the RTR chassis into a full form race car by, adding machined elements, then suspension geometry, shocks. Obviously, I think they had some plastic parts in the RTR shocks, and then you can see the chassis stiffness and so on. They are aluminum, and
Or carbon
the
fiber.
most interesting bit, yeah, as Roach said, if you scroll a little bit down, you will see the chassis of the car. From the bottom, go a little bit more. Yeah, well, here we can already see it. It's carbon fiber chassis. So this is actually something that I'm really interested to see how we'll
Oh,
handle.
wow.
I remember back in the day, Joseph wanted to try this. I don't know if he ever actually got to run it on track, because it was quite a process to make one. But yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, it would be terrible for where if it's a really rocky surface. But then again, like perhaps this is what you want in terms of flex. Who knows? It would be maybe stiffer and lighter. So very interesting. About the car. Otherwise, to be honest, it looks a lot like how S works is in terms of geometry. So you have that high offset, or well, uh, what would be negative offset in the rear end, and then you have the standard pillow ball front end, and then semi wide. It's not the widest possible rear pivot, but it's still a wider rear pivot. Then about the e-buggy layout, I do have to say it's probably not the most optimal. If you look from the top here, you have a very high axle, um, a center drive shaft angle here. To be honest, I wouldn't do it this way. I think the saddle layout is in today's day and age the way to go. Perhaps in the future, if we update our batteries a bit, we could go with the similar layout as 10 scale off road. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this will sort of catch on, because Corelli being on the RTR market, they will have a lot of money behind them. They have a huge RTR sales currently. I think like the quality of the materials is gonna be pretty decent, and they have a team behind them who's keen to improve the car. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think there will be a big player but they will be something, and especially in the French-speaking scene, I think people are interested to see how it'll go.
Any thoughts on the carbon fiber car there, Bertie?
Like Max said, it's going to be a question of where, because one of the main things that I tried before was running a carbon fiber chassis on a Schumacher LD3 on an outdoor surface, and it got tore up really badly. So unless they have some different like manufacturing process, I'm not sure if it'll work or not. I think most people would go with the aluminum chassis, but I'd
It
like
has
to
a
see what they
choice,
are.
right?
You do have a choice,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. If I'm Corrali, I'm pushing to make a very good ready to race vehicle. Great starting point. S-Works has one. Like I would take both these technologies and make a car that's cost effective, that's good enough to be raced, like out of the box. That's what
Like
I would
a
do.
TLR Typhoon.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Like
Like
a TLR
that.
Typhoon.
Yeah. All right. On to what was probably the strangest release I've seen in a long time. I don't really understand this, but let's bring it up here and let's have a look at it. With all custom, all courtesy of Red RC, we have the team associated RC10 American Custom Semi Truck. I saw the video for this and I'm just like, I don't
Why
get
would
it.
you make one why would you make one? I don't know.
Well, the way I
You know,
see
this
it,
could be like a April Fool's joke.
could be an April Fool's joke. But my thought process behind this is like they're taking the Traxxas approach of taking a bunch of stuff that they already have, just mashing them together and creating a new car that they can sell at a profit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the business strategy for sure.
That is the
Which I
business strategy.
totally understand, right? But here's the thing I don't get. They have a Euro truck series. Like it doesn't have 6 wheels. I don't
Yeah.
I guess this is not geared to racers at all. But if they would have just left it with 4 wheels, it could have been a race truck too, but I don't know. I guess diehard associated guys will get this. Like, but
And
it
never
looks
take it
like
out
it
of.
should be a race vehicle, don't it? It looks like it should be a race vehicle.
It'd be cool if
Yeah,
it
the
was.
body show. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
body shell is like race truck type. Well, I mean, the main difference is though that it's like an American truck, not the European truck, but still, I don't know.
I would have just made
I
it
think
full wheels and just put it where you could have raced it in Euro truck.
yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's kind of one of those meme releases, So, but
They're releasing it because they can.
Yeah, I
I
think
agree
so.
with I agree with the whole. I think they're just using parts that they already have. But I mean, people will buy it. I guess. I don't know if like they're guys say I don't know, like what should we make next, guys? A 6-wheel semi truck that looks like a race truck, and then try to market it as our old on-road cars with a good chassis. I don't get it.
Well,
Yeah,
Mind you,
Yeah.
I would take one if you gave it to me, but I mean, it looks cool. The white plastics and all that stuff look cool, but I wonder what parts it used. Interesting.
it was like an RC10 remake, so it's like a.
yeah.
But you don't know. Somebody in the media department thought it was a good idea, and they went through with it. So,
I bet you they sell them. All right,
I'll let
what's
you know
next,
once they
Maxie?
go out of pre-order.
so next up we have Schumacher, who released a front wheel drive touring car. Nothing big. They release a car. It has some new ideas. The rear end is a bit different. Can I get a good picture of the arms? Well, either way, the arms are way forward here, so everything is moved a lot forwards. But a front wheel drive car. And the reason why I bring this up, because Automatics also released a front wheel drive car. Just I think it was last week too, which I'm gonna bring up next. So these two brands obviously competing in the touring car market, but then now they are also going to be competing in the what you call it, front wheel drive touring car market. more so because it's getting really popular at ETS. It's one of the most popular classes. And here's the automatics one. This is the actually cool one. So we have 2-piece chassis. I don't know why, but we have it. Okay. Again,
I did
I
notice
don't
that
know
looking
why.
at it.
Yeah, so you have the front end, which is the aluminum piece. Same layout, by the way. Same servo on the same place, battery on the same place, and then the motor right behind the servo. The same layout as the Schumacher one, no difference there. They've even maintained the same suspension front and rear, which is, to be honest, these days not that typical. Usually you have a rear suspension that's way more front biased. So you move the weight forward. But Automatics went the route of having this 2-piece chassis design. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, what is the point of this? They say that
Why not?
they do this so they can adjust the length of the chassis actively. But I mean, I'd imagine there'd be easier ways to do do this. But it looks cool. It's there's basically just a gap in the chassis. I guess you get some flex benefits from this as well.
That's my
Um,
thought because I think they might release another version or another part of it where you can replace that graphite part with aluminum.
yeah, that too. And I think also like you could technically add a suspension element here by connecting the 2 pieces, and then you could, in theory, get rid of most of the rear suspension. And I think that's kind of the next step for them. Um, I do not know why they have 4 cars next to each other here, but yeah. The front wheel drive touring cars are definitely, I don't understand like how, like what the brands are doing. They're kind of doing whatever. So I
I
wanted
think the
to showcase
idea
this.
I think the idea is like I remember when I first got into racing that the most popular class was like the Tamiya mini chassis with two-wheel drive. And I think this is kind of the genetic endpoint of that.
Yeah,
I would
yeah, and
agree
I
there,
mean,
Roach.
yeah, and I mean, I do have to say that I do totally understand why we have a front wheel drive class. Like, I don't know if let me actually bring back the Schumacher because there you can see a picture with the body shell on. Because I don't know if we're gonna go into this. Yeah, this is actually the next topic. We're gonna talk about the body shells of touring cars. Um, and like touring cars do not look like actual touring cars anymore. Because the modern full size touring cars looks pretty much like this. Like they're all front wheel drive. There's no more 4-wheel drive touring cars in the world. Like all of them are um, front wheel drive. Some of them still rear wheel drive. But this is essentially what the touring car looks like in the modern era, and the front wheel drive class perfectly represents it. So it has that scale aspect to it. And to be honest, I think this looks pretty cool. You know, it has its own look. It looks like a real car, which the touring cars actually do not look like. They look more like GTs, but they still don't look like GTs. It's like a DTM GT and then hypercar hybrid. Um, so I think the front wheel drive class actually has a place, and it's here to stay. And it's also like a great class for, you know, the hobbyists instead of like the touring cars, which is like really high end, really expensive these days too. These cars.
Yeah.
Would you drive a front wheel drive car, Keenan?
Yes, because I was actually Jake and I were talking about this, and he was like, "Dude, they should be really what we should be doing is pushing this class to the public and on TV because it looks so
Yeah,
cool and it's
yeah,
real and it's slow and people can appreciate it." He said he thinks touring cars too fast for people to even appreciate it, except racers, and it doesn't look
yeah,
real.
yeah,
So I don't know much about it, but I definitely like that look of body over.
yeah,
I'm a big proponent of that. The car should look. That's why I'm a big fifth scale fan. I love the scale
yeah,
reality of the fifth scale, and
yeah,
honor it. So, which brings me up to your next post, which you made a post on the Facebook about the hypercar, which I think is great. So, talk us through that because I
yeah.
know nothing about it.
Yeah, so we only have one picture of it so far. They still haven't released a full show of it. But this is the Zoo Racing LMP or Hypercar rather body shell. There are other brands. Montec has released an LMP body shell, and there are other brands who have released these Hypercar body shells. So for people who are not knowledge in the or don't know about endurance racing in the real world, we have basically we have a GT class and then we have the Hypercar class. So there's two sort of main classes.
The hypercar class is sort of a replacement for the LMP1 class.
Yes, exactly. So if we go back into history where, these on-road classes were created, it was basically that we had the 12 scale, which used to be the LMP class, which these days is hypercar class. And then touring cars used to be like DTM, like the German touring car series. These days, the touring cars, the DTM is almost dead, and the touring cars we have is it doesn't really look like anything. Like I don't know if people know what they look like, but it looks more like a hypercar than anything. Um, so I went as far as suggesting that what if instead of playing with this line of looking like weird, because the cone head bodies that touring cars have they are actually not that pretty. So I went as far to say, what if instead of that, we just transformed touring cars into a class that like this? Then it would actually make sense that the cars go so fast, and they are like incredibly, how would you say? I mean, just incredibly fast cars, and they are like
They
complex and
look like
expensive,
fit.
and only
Just basically to have a body that matches how expensive and not expensive, but how intricate these cars are.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And I think like the way these car body shells are used today is that they have endurance races. So they have like 4 hour RC races. It's 21.5 motors. So it's basically like super low end stock class, and they use these LMP body shells, and then they run endurance races with it. Which, in my opinion, like sure, like that's cool, and for people who like the scale aspect, sure, that's great that they get to enjoy that. But like that's exact opposite of what hypercar is. Hypercar is that they are the absolute fastest things around a track, except for F1, obviously. But that's a different topic. And I think we have this avenue where touring cars are almost looking like hypercars already, so switching over wouldn't be that big of a change. These look much cooler. These look much more like racing cars. I think we have like this would be the position where we would change this. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't run touring, so I'm not the one who should be saying this. But I think this would kind of solve two issues at once. The people who complain that the old touring car bodies were much cooler, and then the people who like want the touring car bodies to be like really aerodynamic and really cool looking. I think this is the solution. I don't know what others think, but I would really love to utilize the scale aspect when we actually can do it, and that's why I'm really interested in this.
Max, I would have to also agree with you on this. I'm not saying that I know much about on-road or anything at all, but I definitely like the looks of this. And I would say that probably one of the reasons why the Tamiya Cup is still going to this day and was very popular, and Roach just said he remembers the M chassis back then, like the Tamiya mini cars and all that stuff, Mini Coopers, is because of the scale aspect of the Tamiya cars. And that you can make them look like actual liveries of a vehicle.
You can make them look like actual liveries. They had they have like a plethora. I'm looking at Amy and Helby's right now, and they have all the cars that you'd ever want as like chassis that you can just buy from Tamiya. You have old Mini Coopers, old Golf GTIs, Alfa Romeo Giulias, Porsche 911s, all
that's so cool.
Everything you'd want.
Yeah.
and
Toy
that's
Yeah, and
why it was
differences.
successful. And it was in a
yeah,
parking lot, like on road in a parking lot. The scale looking cars is a recipe for getting people into RC. Period.
for
It's
sure. And think about this, like ETS, they basically have front wheel drive and F1, and then they have this sort of touring car class, which is more like a GT class, but not a GT class. It's like nothing representative from real life. Like now we would have the sort of trio. We would have all the things that people associated with full scale. We would have it in like scale motorsports. I think this is a great opportunity for this. Sure, pan cars, I think they should be the ones who to do this beforehand. And they had been in EFRA meeting, the annual general meeting. I think it was 2 years ago already. There was someone who said that we would revamp the pan car body shells to look like these hypercars, and this would be the perfect situation to do it. And I think that's a great idea too. But I think still it has to be said, touring car is the number one on-road class currently. Pan cars, they have been fading for a long while now. And I think this is the way we could um, sort of take it to the next level in terms of the public eye. I know there will be people who are saying, why do you have to change things? And it's sure, like, we probably shouldn't be changing that much things, but I think this would be sort of the perfect way to complete the scale aspect of it and bring it into bring that aspect back into RC like properly. And the thing is that the hypercars are four-wheel drive, pan cars are rear-wheel drive, so it doesn't really even make sense to have, you know, rear-wheel drive pan cars that are look like hypercars. They should be four-wheel drive, and they should have, you know, similar size front and rear wheels and so on and so on. So I hope this would spark up a conversation within the touring sphere, because I think this is it has been on the up already, but I think I don't know. I see an opportunity here. I don't know what others see, but
I like
yeah.
it. I like it. Can I segue to our next thing? It's about scale.
Yeah, I saw it on the bottom
So
before.
I was geeking out on this week. By
Yeah,
Chase.
this cool.
Basically, let's press
Mhm.
play. I thought this was very cool. So he basically took a techno e-buggy. E-buggy, put a truggy chassis on it and made a short course truck, but he put 1/7 scale tires on it, right?
Yeah,
And that's the part of this that I like. And he was like, RC racing's gonna ruin this, Lefty. And he's right, because we ruin everything. We ruin short course. Just Jimmy Fish back then. I'll take it for a test at Revelation. But that looks cool, right? I
yeah,
have always liked 1/8 scale short course. Like I don't know if you remember, the Associated had the SC8s back in the day. They had nitro and electric. I wanted one of those so bad, but look how cool this car looks with the 1/7 tires on it. Like, I think that's what makes it look so cool. The tires look like real tires. This thing looks scale. Do you know how? Imagine running that in a parking lot with jumps like they do that Australian. You don't even need, but you just see, like, this is. I'm not saying we need another class, but I definitely want one of these, just like that with the 1/7 wheels on it. I think it's very cool.
yeah. And I think actually this is the reason why short course failed, because people the first short course trucks were like 10 scale buggies that were stretched, like the Durango, the Associated. They was light and small. And then the Techno came out with the really heavy 8 scale version, but it was still too small. So then they was kind of like you couldn't run them indoors, but you couldn't run them outdoors either. There was really
They're
never
in
a
sort of
good
a
place
gray
to run
zone.
them. Yeah, and I think that's why they actually ended up like going away. Imagine if from the beginning we pushed this 8 scale short course truck version. It could be that we wouldn't be running truggies, we'd be running these. And imagine how cool that would be. Because as long like truggy, I talk shit about truggy all the time, and I think it's a silly class. But how cool would this be? How freaking cool would this be? Like look
This
at it
actually,
going around the track.
but you know what? You know what makes this scale to me mostly is obviously the body and the wheels and tires. And
Yeah.
if you put 8 scale buggy tires on that, it doesn't look the same.
No, it
I
doesn't. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't.
and I think that's the if this ever became a class, I would be like, yeah, no 8-scale tires. You got to run those 7-scale tires. Like everybody runs the same tires. Well, we'll ruin it, but it looks cool. It looks very cool.
I think that's another thing. Like we ruin it. We definitely over optimized full drive short course trucks to a point where they weren't really fun. And that what we just saw is just it just looks fun, and that's what's more important.
Exactly.
Like that video, we've all seen that video of Ryan Mayfield ripping one of those Associated Nitro. You've had to have seen it, Max. You've seen it because you've played it on the podcast. You've seen it.
Yeah.
You can't tell me when you watch that you're not like, that's so awesome. Like those SC8s, they were the only thing wrong with those SC8s is they were built on that first Associated 8-scale platform that was.
It sucked.
Quite bad.
Let's be honest. It sucked.
I gave it 2 thumbs down, 2.5, 1.5 thumb. I can't do the whole thumb down. It was not good. That's the only problem with that. But I would love. This is the type of class I wouldn't mind seeing happening.
Yeah. I mean, I would absolutely love to see something like this. And the thing is, when people say, "Oh, a short course truck, it's lame," like I hate short course truck, but back in the day when 8-scale buggies came around, there was a lot of buggies that were Beetles. They weren't like, because in Europe it kind of evolved from rallycross. Like rallycross became 8-scale off-road. That idea was like between rallycross versus like beach buggy, and there was a lot of I'm talking the 80s here. There was a lot of buggies back then, which was like Beetles converted to beach buggy in scale, and those had actually wheel covers and so on and so on. So it's not actually that far from the roots. Sure, short course is a completely different thing. And that being said, like the short course truck and trophy trucks, to my knowledge, they have a solid rear axle. So it's a different thing. It's a different type of car, but the design, the way it looks, that's all here. And I don't know. I'd be much more interested in seeing this being a class than Truggy, because I just
Had to
like
get it
Truggy
in
to
somewhere.
me.
This guy just hit.
I don't know.
As a Truggy elder, I take every slice at Truggy as a slight.
No, but
against me.
like, okay, number one reason why I hate Truggy is because of Truggy we lost a gas truck, which is one of the coolest classes ever. Sure, tracks evolved and it became obsolete, blah blah blah. But Truggy's basically made gas truck obsolete. And another reason is we have this truck class, which is now basically just an elongated buggy. So not only did it take away the pristine truck class of gas truck, it became a buggy class for people who can't drive. So I think it's like the worst of everything.
I know I can't drive. That's why I'm gonna. E-Truggy makes me look good. Makes me look like I can. That's why.
I know. And the thing is, people will hate me for what I said, but everyone will know I'm right.
Let me tell you something. E-Truggy has been the funnest thing I have driven in a long time.
I know.
A long time. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, that's why all the bashers are E-Truggies, and I do understand that part of it. So
That's why I say when you're getting into it, get an E-Truggy because it's easy to drive.
Yeah.
But it does build very bad habits because E-Truggy is able to do.
Yeah.
But I would love to see. I would love to see that short course like looking just like that. No, none of this high flow bodies and all that stuff. Big blocky bodies, looking like real trucks. Big blocky tires, all that type of stuff. Anyway. Up next, everybody, we got to pay some bills. Shout out to Side Piece Racing. Elevate your RC experience with sidepieceracing.com, North America's exclusive distributor for top-tier brands like Awesomatics, Rocher, Wild Turbofan, Montec Racing, Coursetech, Phoenix Racing, and Will Speed. Whether you're seeking precision-engineered car kits, high-performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, Max, we've got you covered. Enjoy fast shipping and exceptional customer service, ensuring you get the best gear when you need it. Visit sidepieceracing.com today and race ahead of the competition. Also, for all of our European listeners and to our good friends there at Latara Racing, step up your RC racing with Latara Racing, one of Sweden's premier hobby shops and track dedicated to racers, featuring top brands like X-Ray, Hobby Ring, Zoo Racing. We just had Zoo Racing on there with the hypercar. Team Coyote, we provide everything you need from precision chassis to high performance electronics. Whether you're at the track or upgrading your setup, Latera Racing caters to racers who demand the best. Visit latera.se or stop by our shop and track for the ultimate RC experience. Latera Racing, built for winners. Thank you, Latera. Thank you, Side Piece, for your support. FEMCA won 8-scale off-road championship. I think the only reason I know about the FEMAR off-road world championship because I have a lot of friends in South America, but I think the only other world champion, like block championship that nobody really even knows about too much is this one, FEMCA. It's been 2 years in a row in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken, at the same track.
Yeah.
It was held March 13th to 16th, same venue. It was Win Hobbies in Ho Chi Minh City. Little bump, Phi Long Win ran away. It's not a little bump. He's getting tall. Now I was telling his dad. His voice is changing too. Oh my goodness. I wasn't ready for that. Wasn't ready for it. I call his dad Big Bump. So, but this suffers from the race where a lot of the top people don't go, and it was like a week before the ABC race.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were holding off to go to that.
Yeah, and I don't know if even Christian Wallhunter went this year.
He did. He went.
He did. Okay, but like the guy who finished third, I know for a fact he's not like a top racer. So the level was rather low here. I think Christian must have had a DNF because the differences between the drivers in the final was big. But yeah, I don't know. Like, why do the Asian Buggy Championships and the FEMCA not communicate with the dates? It's like follow-up weekend. I don't understand why is it so difficult to hold it? It was since COVID. In the first one in Taiwan, they basically told no one that they was going to have a FEMCA Championships, and then they held it in Taiwan, and now they've had it twice in a row in Vietnam.
Because FEMCA holds no prestige.
No, but is there something fishy going in the federation?
Well, I think they don't like the head of the federation. I think because the Philippine Masters Philippine track has tried countless. That would be perfect, right?
Yeah,
have the FEMCA race right along with the Philippine Masters. Yeah. They use the same They use the same
rules.
Thing. Same. It's IFMAR style for buggy, but probably some hard feelings. I know the Philippine guys, from what I'm told, have been trying to host a FEMCA race for years, and it will probably be the most successful FEMCA race.
Yeah. And the funny thing, the funny thing about that would be it would be a Philippine Masters, Asian Buggy Championships, and FEMCA at the same time. So there'll be 3 races in one race. But I think one issue for the Philippine Masters is that they always invite people from abroad. Like I think Pavidis was there last time.
It can still be a factor. They do it. You just don't. They don't count. But it's a difference.
But I mean, it kind of yeah.
Maybe FEMCA just has to be.
I mean, imagine
right.
Yeah.
At Philippine Masters to have a good race, everybody will go there. It seems.
Yeah. Nobody imagine this that Canas came to America for the Roar Nationals.
I wish
everyone, and then the second place guy won the national championship.
That's how it's
quite embarrassing.
No, but that's how it happens. But for instance, Robert won in Brazil at the race, but because it was like a national race, he doesn't win. The guy, he doesn't.
I know.
He wins the race, but he doesn't win the. He doesn't get the top step.
Yeah, but that kind of kills the prestige.
Right. So maybe they should hold the race in a place where everybody's going to go, like which would be Philippines,
exactly. Yeah.
Or that nice track in Indonesia that they have. You know. So that's what I think. That location. We're not getting into all of that. Let's just move on. Congratulations to Little Bump. Sorry, Roach. Did you have anything to say about the
I think they're having the same issues that Roar's having. It's just a lack of communication.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they don't need FEMCA to go. Sorry, they don't need to qualify in FEMCA to go to the Worlds because each country gets. It's like Europe; they all get blocks.
Yeah.
So, like Australia has to qualify, and each individual country has a number of drivers that they can apply to. Sorry, they have world slots. Sorry. You know something else? Speaking of that, I forgot to mention this, but Canada, for the first I don't know if it's the first time in many, many years, have actually been allocated spots for the Worlds. I think they got 13
Yeah.
spots. So
Yeah,
they're
I heard
having
about that.
so they're having a nationals this year, and it's actually going to count for spots in the Worlds next year. So,
Yeah.
and it's all
But
raw.
what
So
happens? Yeah, what
it's all
happens
about a
if the
raw.
Canadians come to the Roar Nationals, and then there's Canadians into, let's say, what, top 40, and then they also qualify through Canada. So
What if the Americans go up to Canada and if they don't get in and go and try to, like, some fast Americans go up there and try to get in through Canada?
that would be funny. That would be
That'd be
incredibly
pretty
funny.
funny,
But I
honestly.
mean,
You know,
yeah,
true story. Gene Hickerson actually went to Brazil and competed in the national champion, became a Brazilian national champion back in the early 2000s because he didn't make it into the Worlds through the American nationals that year.
yeah.
Jesus
mean-
Christ.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons for Americans to go to Canada, but I didn't expect this one. So yeah, maybe.
But kudos. Hey, there's something that Raw has done positive, and as well as the reps up there in Canada, and actual nationals that counts. Like it's a Canadian nationals with spots allocated for the
Yeah.
Worlds. They've had nationals before, but this is probably going to be the biggest one. So congratulations to everybody up there in Canada.
Too bad we don't have. Do they have any top races except for Sousa?
They do. They have Cultura. He's very fast, up and coming young guy. Dylan Raposo, very fast, up and coming X-ray driver as well. They have another I can't. His name's on the tip of my tongue. He's from Alberta area. Oh, it's a different. It's a weird last name.
What
But I can't
chassis
remember.
does he?
I do not know. X-ray.
Okay.
He's an X-ray guy, but he's been on to some of the races in the Pacific Northwest. The other guy, Douglas Schufelt, he's really good over on the east side. And I'm sure there's some guys up in Quebec that are good too. But Mark Souza, Raposo, Cole Chura, because they come to a lot of Raposo and Chura come to a lot of American races and racing. They do very well there.
Yeah, I wonder why in Canada, basically Tessman is the only one of high level in the past. I don't know how long.
Souza, him and Souza was next, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean they're still a decent sized country, so I'd imagine them to have like a few top drivers.
Probably the same reason why it's the same wing with, well, not necessarily Finland, but they can't really race all year.
Yeah, but I mean, if we start thinking about it, Finland probably has had more pros than Canada, which is insane to think.
Well, Finland's also had rally car drivers and Formula One drivers.
There's a whole Top Gear episode explaining why that is.
Yeah, there we go. We're not going to try to figure that out. Let's move on to the EFRA 12 scale European Championships that's actually wrapped up just before we started recording. They were held March 28th to 30th. This is always the first European Championship, it seems. Held in Zwevegem, Belgium. I hope I said that right, or close as possible. We had Ollie Payne switching brands. He went from I didn't even know he moved to CRC. Interesting.
Yeah, so he was with Schumacher for I think for
a long time.
A long time. Yeah, I think he went to some other brand, in between, but he was with Schumacher for a while, and then just 2 months ago, end of January, he said he's going to leave Schumacher, and then he joined CRC, which was a really interesting move. And I mean, seemed to have worked out because he TQ'd 3 of the 5 rounds, just narrowly lost the TQ overall to Reinhardt, who TQ'd 2 rounds but had a better time. Started second in the final. He was definitely the fastest of the 3. 3 being Reinhardt, Orlowski, and him. Definitely the fastest was Payne, but I think it's maybe a little bit immature still. Made a lot of mistakes. For example, with the first one, he was giving Mark pressure. Then made a few of his own mistakes. Then collided with the lapper. Then collided with Michal. Dropped back to third. So I don't know. It feels like if things had gone his way, Ollie could have actually won it. Like he was definitely, in my opinion, the fastest of the 3. But you have to. It's 8-minute runs, so you have to be consistent. You have to be able to not make mistakes. So yeah, Ollie still won stock though. So even though Machler is the reigning world champion, he got beaten by Ollie. Ollie won the stock one, and then
Reinhardt actually ended up winning the modified. Uh, yeah, that was actually insane. Why? Because Orlowski been like the top pan car driver for a while now, but Reinhardt was definitely much better than Orlowski this time around. Orlowski made it to second after Payne had some issues in the main. Well, he made mistakes in the main basically, and Payne was in third. Um, but yeah, main takeaway probably is that Reinhardt. I don't know how old is he, but I'm pretty sure he's closing in on 40, and he's got 2 European championships and a podium at the Worlds within the last year, which is pretty insane. Like a total comeback from like those days when Tamiya stopped racing and then he joined Infinity, had a tough few years, now back with Automatics, and I don't know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that he's like one of the best once again.
He's like wine. He gets better as he gets old.
Yeah, I
Older.
know.
On road
Anything-
Ryan once.
There you go. Any thoughts on the 12 scale Euros? Prior, I think one of the surprising names. I mean, wow, Hagberg came fourth, but I shouldn't say I'm shocked at Payne. I know he's fast, but yeah, I'm shocked at him. He won stock. Max Matchler, who was sick going into EETS, couldn't make it. He makes it to the Euros. And then, like you said, Reinhardt just out there still kicking butt. I mean, he was fast at the Worlds too in 2023. You know? He was-
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I guess
But I
Onroad
mean,
might have
sad-
a longer life expectancy. Less things
Maybe,
to
it
deal
could
with,
be.
maybe.
Maybe that's actually not a bad like analysis, because I think in general on-road drivers have made it longer being pro than off-road drivers. But one sad takeaway from these Euros was that I think there was maybe 3 heats of modified, and there was, if I'm not totally wrong, there was definitely more stock. I think about 70
I think
or
that's
80
just
drivers.
in general. In general,
Yeah,
period. In 12
yeah.
scale.
But either way, 12 scale is kind of suffering because like they was lapping people 3-4 times a main. Like I mean, sure, it's 8 minutes and the lap is only 10 seconds long. But still, like the speed difference, it was huge. Between the top 3 was pretty close by, but behind them it was like Michal could put the car into the wall once or one and still finish third pretty much. So the big differences. I think the future for 12 scale is not that secured in my opinion.
Maybe on a level like this, but it seems to be good on a regional level.
On regional level for sure. Yeah. But I mean still I think the modified class is too fast for a lot of people, which is obvious, but still like I don't know. Maybe you just get rid of modified altogether. Everyone runs stock. Who knows? But because pretty much the modified these days, it is already stock. It's 6.5 blinky. So they've done what I've suggested to do in off road. I think it's better. I think it's definitely better, but still, yeah, I think it's too fast. Still, the cars are so fast.
Go ahead, Roach.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're pretty right. I've mentioned this before, and I think in your interview with Brock Chaplin about this exact same topic about off-road, about running like a blinky, like a motor limit to where it doesn't really matter how much faster you go. Because for a lot of people, running close with this level of power that we have now in our electric cars is just kind of stupid. It's stupid difficult.
That I will tell you that I watch these mod cars go. The stock 12 scale cars are sufficiently fast. Sufficiently fast. They are fast. Those mod cars are extremely fast. I would say that the competition level it's like you have these group of 3 or 4 or 5 guys that are extremely fast, and then it's
Everyone.
a varying level of competition from there on down. It's probably more guys than that. So that's the problem with on-road. It doesn't have the upcoming it from outside looking in, I'm sure there are more people. The outside younger talent coming up, replacing these older guys in 12 scale, it looks like to me from the outside looking in. All right, guys. Well, let's get into the big 8-scale race that happened this past about 2 weekends ago, which was the Asian Buggy Championship. But that is actually brought to you by Invisible Speed and ML Toys.
Stop scrolling. You want to be Lewis Hamilton? Learn something new with Invisible Speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No, you probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Stop scrolling, says JQ. We have links for Invisible Speed in the written description of this podcast. Also, for ML Toys, you can save 10% by using no name at mltoys.com. Thank you to ML Toys, all your Power Wheel and ride-on vehicle modification needs.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy with plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
Thank you, ML Toys and Alan, for all your support. Max, you know, when you have a little kid, you know where to go to modify his Power Wheels. You too, Roach. Hopefully you guys have kids many, many years from now. Be like me. Wait. All right, everybody. So the ABC was this past, when was it? Last weekend, actually.
Yeah,
Because I watched this. I caught the last little bit of it. It was a great 45-minute race. It was held in Counties RC Club in Puka. I heard them say the name. Pukekohe, New Zealand. I believe they held it here last year as well.
Yes.
And it's the first round of the Asian Buggy Championship. First, I just want to I gave them some flowers last time with JQ, but I'll give them some more flowers, man. These guys are really, they even had Red RC there, like doing written stuff. So that was good. The production is great. I love the series side of things. They got a good thing going on there. And what we're seeing is, we was talking about this last year with Caleb Noble, right? And he's fiery and he ain't taking no shit. And he has great interviews and he's pushing hard. And then we saw another guy like Christian Waltharder. He's coming he's on the move as well. Then we had this next young man who's like 19, Jaden Edmonds, who just became a Mayako guy. So there's a group of young, fast Australian guys that are coming up. I know every time we talked about Australia, we talked about McBride and Bernard Zek, but I think Bernard Zek is kind of just into real life right now, and RC's second. I do believe he's going to the Philippine Masters, and he'll be going to like the round of the Australian Nationals. Well, sorry, the ABC Championship. But I think these kids, these young racers are. I'm going to say this. I don't think they're nowhere near as talented as McBride. I still think McBride is the most talented racer to come out of Australia, right? Ever. Because that's
like he made the world's main at 15. He finished I think 4th at the age of 19, I think. That's like talent that's really hard to like ask from anyone else.
Oh, I agree.
Even like Ronafog, like I think McBride made the main before Ronafog made the main, and they're around the same age. So like the level of talent is high.
And why I say that is because McBride probably hasn't been racing a lot, and he made it to this race and he TQ'd, right? He had some issues in the main. He was never really in the battle for the main. It was a scrappy 45-minute main from the very start to the very end. So I want to say that I don't think these kids are on that talent level of a McBride. Work-wise, talent-wise, I think they're working hard and they're passionate and they're putting in a lot of work and they're very good at that. I think the generation that's coming up behind them is going to be the next McBride, if that makes sense, right? I think these young kids that are 11, 12 that are in this series now that are doing good, because I heard it's a couple of them doing really well there. What I'd really like is like the top Japanese guys to come to this race and do this whole series, like Kauki, your guy, the Infinity guys. Infinity sponsors it. They should send them, I think. And obviously the Philippine Master side is going to get a lot of top guys coming over there, Ongaro, Cavallari, JQ, because it's a popular race. But I think it's really cool. I'm going to bring it up. It was a scrappy scrappy race. But Jaden Edmonds ended up winning it. Caleb Noble, Jaden Jameson, who's New Zealand guy, Casey Dawson. I don't know familiar with him. Lillian Toa, he's a Mayako guy. Jonathan Kukulasio, Shane O'Connor, he's a veteran from New Zealand. So lots of guys, but Kyle McBride ended up not finishing this race. But I just have to say, like, we always talk about Kyle McBride. I have to say, you like Kyle McBride a lot. I like him a lot too. But we've said it over and over again. He kind of has that. He's got so much talent, but doesn't have the work ethic to put into it. And I know he's just a new father, and all that type of stuff as well. I get all of that. But I always think that's been the issue with McBride. He's just never put in the work necessary or left Australia to really be that. Like, one day he's going to look back and say, what if I would have done this? That time should have been when he was associated, in my opinion, because that's when he was really, and he was coming over like the Reedy race and he was doing well at that and all that. So that's the time he should have. If McBride at that point would have said, hey, I'm going to come to America for a year to just race, or I'm going to travel the world for the next 2 years just racing, which he did to an extent, but he didn't get out of Australia, or just, I know it's hard and it's difficult.
I know that was his plan when he joined Associated. I know that was his plan to leave Australia and or at least that's what I heard, that was his to do that, but it never really materialized fully. I don't know, like, I think he got a bit comfortable because he was good. No matter, like, he was the number one guy in Australia. Pretty much every race he went to, he could be fast. RCGP, he was really good, but I think joining Infinity, it was a good move then, but then leaving Infinity wasn't definitely not a good move. He left Infinity for Techno. He joined all these brands, I think Sismic Tires, Reg Engines. Reds at that time, they wasn't reliable,
They weren't
efficient
what they are now.
brand that, yeah, they wasn't what they are now. Sismic was definitely a developing tire, not made for Australia. And then, Techno, as far as I've seen McBride work, he's not a setup guru. Definitely not the setup guru. So yeah, it never worked out. I heard that there was it was really messy year when he joined Techno, and that was the time where Bernard Sack was started really beating him everywhere. And then after that, he would join S-Works. That never went well. Then he was a Kyosho last year. He was okay, but never good. I think now he just fully realized that it's kind of a hobby for him more so than
He got
trying to
complacent.
become a pro. I think, yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. He got more complacent. But still, like, you can see, it's not like he doesn't have the skills to compete. And
that's what I was getting at. He still has the skills. He still has the talent.
yeah.
I just think it's too late now. The work that needs
Oh,
to be put in
yeah.
to get
And
there.
the thing, it's kind of similar situation with Cole. Obviously, very different.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's similar situation where now he has the burden to prove that he's worth hiring. So he's basically at the same situation as the young kids that they need to race and get results to prove that they are worth going pro. And like you said, he has a kid, he has a family, can't take time off as much to go to practice and go to every single race and so on. And these kids, they're in school. I mean, as long as they want to be RC pros, they can they can skip some school. That's a very different situation, and it's not gonna happen. I think the same thing with Cole. Like, he has to make money to live. So I think he's gonna get a regular job, and that's gonna be it.
Right. Well, let's
but
read it back in.
I
I
want to
agree
talk
with all
about
those
Bernard Check.
points.
I want to talk
Sorry.
about Bernard Check too.
Am I gonna have to shakies you?
No, it's gonna be a quick one because I think
Okay.
what Bernard Check did was he caught Kyle at the sort of end part of his professional career. He beat Kyle. He became like the number one guy from Australia. He put a lot of effort into going to America. He went to Silver State, I think, one or two times. He went to Worlds and so on.
Once. He went to Silver State once. He went to America once.
One, okay, but either way, he went to Philippine Masters for sure, and he traveled around a bit, and he never really had a good result. So I think I don't know if it was that he got mentally like he realized that this ain't it, or that he kind of was like had to make a decision. And I think the results he showed wasn't enough for him to become a pro. And I think he made the safe choice of not putting the effort in, which is fine. But like I think that's just what happened.
I agree with you to an extent. I still think he's doing RC, but it's real life comes
Oh
first,
yeah, for sure.
and it's second. And we've seen this happen with many people who have talent in Australia. It's just that distance thing is such a big hurdle to get over, and getting and while I believe that right now the Asian market's on the rise. We can see this. I think this series is one of the reasons. As we look at this track in New Zealand, it reminds me of a Australian New Zealand type track. I think we see similar type tracks in Australia. Then we'll see the Asian style tracks, obviously, when we go to Philippines and Indonesia. But we're watching Jaden Edmonds, who's out there. He's 19 years old, just recently came into Mayako, and he had some controversy too at the end of this. I don't know if you listened to his interview, but he was on Matrix tires, and he switched up to J Concepts, and it was not a happy situation, apparently.
So so he's sponsored by Matrix.
Yes, he couldn't get him to work. He says they work great on the oil tracks there in Australia, but not on this natural. It wasn't working on his natural dirt track. And then he went to J Concepts, and there you can see Jaden right there. And I think that's the young Mayako driver right there from Toa.
Yeah, I think Toa,
11. Yeah.
I think there were 3 Mayako Youth Mentor Program drivers, and all of them went the main, and obviously Edmonds won it, and I think it was Dylan Toya who finished 5th. So yeah, really good result for the Mayako guys, obviously Edmonds, that was a great result too, because I think last year. Yeah, I think last year it was in Australia. Caleb Noble took a lot of big wins there, big results in Australia. He became
Caleb Noble was very fast last year, and he was second. It was very scrappy between these two. Roach, you've been quiet. Yeah. What do you think of this track, Roach?
It looks about as similar. It kind of reminds me of a southeastern U.S. track. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
with the slightly better layout.
Yeah, but in New Zealand, they definitely let the track break down more.
Let's have a listen to his interview, because he does mention it here. Hold on for a second, fellows.
Ready, round 1 here in Pukekohe. Jaden Edmonds, that's got to feel good.
Yeah, amazing feeling. Caleb pushed me all the way there. I got out in front early. Car felt amazing. Slowly built pace throughout this whole weekend, and peaked at the end, I guess.
You got that little bit of a gap, but Caleb Noble came after you. He's a ferocious competitor. I mean, you did lap after lap after lap with him right on the tail. He made that incredible pass. You put one back on him. What's going through your mind in the middle of that?
I just knew I needed to get back past. I got into him, but I waited, and then got it done. Yeah.
I want to ask you a couple of things. One of the things I want to ask you about is the help that you've been getting in terms of getting the car to work. What's that kind of been like for you to be a part of a new team and to get that assistance from kind of all around the world?
Yeah, I mean, a big thank you to JQ. He'd be probably sleeping right now, but he's helped me so much throughout this whole weekend. First big race with the new car, and a good debut, I guess.
And you've had to make some difficult decisions around tyre choices and things over the weekend, and made some changes through Saturday. That's paid off for you in terms of getting the win this weekend?
Yeah. Actually swapped to J Concepts, which got me the win, I think. And I'll no longer be running for Matrix anymore. So this is a world exclusive, I guess.
I guess I'm thinking that this is probably the biggest win of your career. You've set yourself this year to kind of really make some moves, change from Mayako, Shoemaker in 10 scale. Where do you kind of aim yourself for the rest of the year?
More of this. No, we'll be in the Philippines and then Queensland, ABC, to try and get another few good results. Obviously 10 scale worlds.
All right. Well done to Jaden. Well done to Jaden. Well done to him. It was a good race. Well done to Caleb. You can see he was like, he was going too hard. He was pushing too hard and made too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Scrappy. I like it. Some good racing coming out of there. Good stuff. Do you recognize the voice of the interviewer?
Not really.
I don't
no.
know.
He's Scott from Action RC podcast. He's the guy, the Australian guy who does the podcast.
Oh,
And he was doing the write-ups last year as well. And RC Race Media, them guys do it. I think they got a good thing going on over there. Really showing that a series can be a multi-country series is something that can happen. Not just having a series in one continent, in multiple continents. But obviously, each continent has a pretty decent race scene, if that makes sense too, you know?
Yeah.
So you go to Philippines, it has a country, sorry. So that's my thoughts on that. I know I just want to get over to Philippine Masters or Indonesia or Australia, any of these countries, but Indonesia or Philippines.
They're so far away though.
so is everything. Yet I'm gonna be flying over to Portugal 3 times this year. Don't talk to me about going far away. I think it's a great event for Mayako. Another positive thing. I told Joseph that as well. Very positive for him. And I think that whole youth program that they have going is really good for them. Good job to Mr. Edmonds, Caleb Noble, and Jaden Jamison was sick as a dog. Sick. Very sick. He almost didn't even make it to the final, but he pulls off a 3rd. Well done. Good kudos to everybody involved in the ABC and the Asian Australia RC community doing some cool things over there. Anything to add?
Other than I want to
No.
read the next ad read. No.
Oh, there you go, Mr. Roach. You can read the next ad read. The thing that makes you break out more than pollen. Nitro.
What? We'd like to talk a little bit about Sidewinder fuels. Morgan Fuel has been. Oh, hang on.
There we go. See, Max, you're the only one to do the ad reads perfectly. Even Roach messed up.
Is it Sidewinder Fuel? Morgan Fuel has been collaborating with many of the world's top drivers for over 35 years. This has enabled us to test our fuels in many of the most challenging situations and take the development of competition fuels to the next level. This result is Sidewinder, the market's most powerful racing fuel. This fuel is track tested and proven to national and world champions, including Ryan Cavalieri, Ryan Mayfield, Greg Degani, Mark Bevides, and many more. These drivers appreciate Sidewinder is blended perfectly for the high performance needs of competitive racing. Don't let victory slip through your fingers. Purchase Sidewinder today.
You know,
Thank you,
Roach,
Sidewinder.
you have a very great ad read voice, radio voice. Very good.
It's the only thing I'm good at.
You have a very good voice.
Along with editing and other things like that.
You're very good at lots of things, Roach. Don't ever put yourself down. Maxie, PNB, one of the American races you've been to. Coming up, this is where your great detest for Truggy started, because we and you had a big falling out about Truggy at this race.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever told anyone the story.
I can see why you piss people off, because you pissed me off.
Okay, but
Tell the story.
let me just tell it.
What'd you say, Max?
No, I mean
This was
I'm
also
gonna
the
tell the whole
infamous year of the drone almost hitting Joe Bornhorst, and then him also saying "Average Joe" as he walked by after
Yeah.
the drone almost hitting him
Yeah.
in his face.
Okay, so obviously 24-hour practice. We show up at 6. I have my the thing that imagine this. I'm living in Finland, obviously. No practice, no nothing. So I'm really eager. I also had to break in my engine the previous night. Because no chance to break in my engine, and we switched from Reds to OS that year, so I couldn't run my old stuff. Okay. So
You were still running Reds.
No, I had the OS.
Okay.
Yeah, but either way, so we're there with my nitro buggy, 6 a.m. I'm like, okay, good. Everything's good. We're going to be running this. We get a few tanks in. I'm having fun. And then, I'm like, okay, my nitro buggy is pretty good. Let's wait for the track to break it. So I start wrenching on the truggy. So this truggy was some old piece of shit that JQ had saved from DNC or whatever. So I'm like, it's dirty, everything's rusty, it sucks, I have to do everything again. I go to, the A guys, hey, give me some setup to put on this truck. And they give me a setup, I'm like, okay, let me put that on. I rebuild it, I work on it for 2-3 hours, I clean it, I make sure the diffs are redone, the shocks, so on. I put on an old practice engine I have, because Truggy, I don't give a shit. And so I'm like, okay, Truggy's ready. Then I start working on my e-buggy. This piece of shit
electronic. I think it's red electronics back in the day. The electronics.
It
For
was
some
the
reason,
it was the Red's electronics.
yeah. For some reason, I plug it in, turn it on, nothing works. I'm like, oh shit! I changed the electronics. Plug it in, turn it on. Okay, now it works. Fine. E-buggy is ready. So I'm like, hey, let's take the truggy now out for a little run. I go run for 2 laps. The thing is the slipperiest piece of shit I've ever driven. Worst like feeling ever. Like I exit corners and the thing just like slides over, like full on, like, spinning. I run to the front straight. The thing bogs down the front straight and flames out. I'm like, okay, what the fuck now? Mike Hill goes and gets the car, and he's like, where the fuck's the air filter?
See, your fault.
Forgot to put the air filter on, like, with a zip tie. So the air filter had flown off. Engine full of dust and mud and whatever. And I'm like, okay, I don't have time for this bullshit. So I was just like, I took the truggy, like, I don't have time to rebuild the engine and then like
Sounds
do
like a
everything
skill
with the
issue,
truggy.
Max.
Yeah,
Sounds like
okay, but
excuses to me, Roach.
so I was like, okay, fine. Then I'm like, let's do the e-buggy for a troll. I go on the track with the e-buggy. I get the e-buggy runaway. Never seen before. I get an e-buggy runaway. And I'm like, what the actual fuck?
And Drake punted him. Woo! Drake
Yeah,
got him
that
in a
too, yeah.
qualifier and punted it. He was getting roughed up. He was getting roughed up.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I have to either fix my e-buggy or the truggy. And then we was like, okay, let's come back like in the night and try the e-buggy. Now it's still getting run. I remember this. I got an e-buggy runaway like 2 a.m. The fucking thing landed on a puddle, spread mud everywhere. Some dude picked it up and just threw it on the track. It went straight into the back wall, full speed. And I was like, fuck this shit. Then I just borrowed Mike's Hobbywing Electronics and ran that. And I was like, I don't even got to bother with the truggy. And Keenan was like, you're going to need track time. And then we was at the track late on, like it was 10 p.m. And Keenan was like, I need to go sleep. I need to go to the house. We're going to leave the van here. And, Keenan almost banged his hand so hard against the van door that it went through. I remember it.
I was so mad at Max. He went running truggy. We argued about that. I'm like, you're the top driver. You got to run truggy. No, I'm not running it. Anyway, enough about that. PNB coming up next weekend. Roach, you'll be there. I'll be there.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. But I had fun in the end. I had fun at PNB. I run only Nitro Buggy and E-Buggy, but I had fun. Okay. It went all right.
That was... Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You got hammered around. You got roughed up in that race. You got some Southeast racing in you. Elbows out. That's what it's about. Looking forward to it. 18th iteration of the race. Elite RC Productions doing the coverage, so I'll be there helping them guys do that. I'm actually going to have my e-truggy there too. So I'm going to take a lap. Or I'm going to take a practice session. So nobody watch because it's going to suck.
So what you're saying is I got to film it?
No, nobody film it.
Are you going to do the Joker lap?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do the Joker lap. I'm going to do the Joker lap. All right, let's get into... we have Juan Carlos Canas, Robert Battier coming in for this race. So good to see 2 Europeans coming that have never been. Canas. It's going to be interesting. Joker lane, all this type of stuff. He seems to have figured out he's figured out AMS. Can he figure out PNB? We shall see. It's going to be interesting to see if he can do that. Dakota Fenn will be there. Ryan Mayfield won it last year in Pro Nitro Buggy. We are going to have 3 Joker lanes to deal with. They get to use the Joker lane 3 times. The 30-minute man. We have the wall. I know Max is just like, great. Don't worry. I would not.
Oh, I mean, no reason to even watch the main because Canas is just going to take his Joker lanes and run alone in the front and no battle, no nothing. So, yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Thanks.
Maybe
Saves me 30 minutes of my weekend.
So that's your pick then. We're just going right there. That's your pick.
We're going right there.
Canas is your pick.
Yeah.
You think he's going to take all 3 Joker lanes? He can't take the Joker lane on the first lap, so he's got to at least do 1 lap.
Oh, bummer. He has to take it on the second.
Do you think he can win it though? Seriously, do you think he can win it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, what was it? Last time he came to AMS, he won it. Year ago he came to AMS, he was pretty good. DNC definitely kind of struggled, but he was still the fastest in the end.
He was very
DNC
fast.
it was totally different layout, track and so on. This one, I don't know. It depends on how humid the weather is outside. But as far as I know, the PNB has never been that bumpy, at least in the recent years. So I think that's gonna really suit Canas. It's gonna be a big track.
Mhm.
It's usually a really flowing track too. It depends if Bobby wants to get an American to win, then it will be more difficult. But most likely it will be a really fast speed flowing track. And
They
we
were
saw what
talking
happens
about
when
sorry,
you go ahead.
they
Go
were
ahead.
talking about tilling up a part of the track and letting it running out.
Yeah, maybe that's the part where the Americans will be good, and then rest of the track can dominate.
Jesus, Max. Jesus, Max.
Well,
I'm only
even
kidding.
I'm
Okay?
like, dude.
You're gonna have to eat a lot of crow because nobody's gonna hear the "I am only kidding" part. They are also gonna do, which I like. They did it. I think it was last year where they dug onto the concrete. So they said they're gonna do another section like that. I love that. It adds an extra
Yeah.
curricula. They also are doing the practice a little different this year. So they're gonna have one controlled round of practice. It starts at 12. So you have open practice from 6 a.m. to 12. Then they have one round per class of open round practice that should be done around 8.
Yeah.
So
Then again,
open practice until 6 a.m. the next morning.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. That
Yeah.
I think that's fair because then people don't have to show up in the morning, and then if you want to, you can. So I think
Well, and
that's
also
good.
everybody at least gets 5 minutes per class on the track.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I think this is actually one of the best changes they've made for the practice one. So I
The
like
only
it.
thing I would say that I wish they would have brought back for this PNB would have been the long jump competition because that's something I really enjoy.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing about it. Even though like our
We
run
failed.
didn't work, we failed. Yeah, but I mean, it was still one of the most coolest thing about it. Yeah, but I mean,
Have you ever seen
when
a
I
rocket
went,
car jump? Sorry, 1 second, Max. Have you ever seen a rocket car jump, Rochi?
I have. Yeah, it was like
Okay.
was it the outdoors one where they sent it like
Yeah.
to the moon?
Yeah, that's the one
pretty
we're talking
much,
about.
Pretty much, yeah.
Dude, we had
Yeah,
this
but
big rocket on the back of a my JQ car.
Yeah.
My poor
But
JQ car that I bought out of my commission sales that got hammered. That car got driven everywhere, right? That car went everywhere.
Yeah.
We had this big rocket and it failed to ignite. So we just revved the piss out of my engine at about 50 feet in the air and then landed on hard asphalt.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I couldn't see where the car landed, So I
But
was
I do
just
like
holding
that.
it pinned. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I hope he brings it back next year.
Yeah.
Do we see
Yeah, but I was gonna say about the
Mayfield?
practice
Oh,
that
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say about the practice that the only time like when I went, I think the lines started forming up about like afternoon. So actually like this could be that it's actually not that much waiting unless people actually just show up at 6, which I doubt because even last time they didn't. So I think this could be actually perfect. I'm really liking this.
Oh my
But
goodness.
either way, yeah, Canas is beating everyone.
Jesus.
It's gonna be a really boring race. So
You had to throw that in there.
Do you think we saw a very great race last year between him and Fend?
yeah.
Do we see Mayfield riding that confidence coming off such a great performance at DNC? Completely different tracks, but he kind of he won that race last year kind of because Fend was hounding him and Mayfield just did enough to stay in front of him. Will we see Fuller coming off hot stuff, second place, almost beating Mayfield, almost getting his first big win? Will we see him? He has always been good at DNC. He was good last year too.
You know who I
PNB.
probably have as a dark horse now?
Who?
Seth Van Dalen.
I wouldn't blame you. I don't even think it's a dark horse. What do you mean? He could win.
He can win, but like the thing is I've never heard he's always been just outside of the top 3. Like I remember looking at his DNC results, he's always like 5th, 4th, 5th.
He was very
something like
consistently 4th last year in a lot of races, and then
wasn't he 3rd at PNB last year?
Yeah,
He was 3rd at
Something wrong.
PNB last year. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
But
he's not a
Well, yeah,
dark horse in my book, man.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
the reason I say that is because he hasn't won yet. I don't think, other than that Well,
He hasn't
I
won a
think
big
he
nitro buggy.
he wasn't one big nitro buggy, but he did win nitro. What was it? Nitro Truggy at DNC.
Yeah.
He's got confidence now. He knows he can do it.
Rivkin's not going to be there. He finished 4th last year. He's going on to the World Warm-Ups.
Yes, he is.
It's gonna be interesting. You know what? Let's just make our picks. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuller, Canas, Fend.
Canas, Fend, and I'm gonna go with Van Dalen in third.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick. Good pick. Those are good picks. You, Rochi?
I got burned last time I didn't mention his name, so I'm going to say Mayfield, Van Dalen, Canas.
Okay. Those are good
Wow,
picks.
very techno.
You still got to
Oh,
eat the hot pepper, though.
I do.
Yeah.
You still got to eat that hot pepper.
We gotta
You know
wait for-
what? You know what? First big race for Lee Setzer on his new Sparko ride. Jonah, the Fish Wilson, who made the main at DNC. There's going to be a very small AE team there with Rivkin, Aiden Horn, both in Australia. It's just going to be Brandon Rose, their top driver.
Yeah,
Top
AE is
driver.
gonna look. I mean, I think Brandon will definitely make the main, but AE is gonna be like
But he
1/10 in a corner.
that's what I'm saying. He went from having a solid pro team around him to now him just being the only guy going to PNB. I
Which is
wanted to
not
consent
something
for him.
That's not something I don't think he expected that going to AE, because he had the S-Works team, and I assumed he went to the AE team thinking he'd have something similar, but he not, at least this year, he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean that was the main reason why he left Agama back in the day. He said the car is good, he's happy with everything, but he wants someone to around him, and that's why he
Yeah.
left Agama back in the day to go
And
to
then he went to
S-Works.
S-Works, and then
Yeah,
I don't
now-
think
yeah.
I don't think he expected Jonah Wilson and Lee Setzer to both leave associated within the first 3
yeah.
months.
I don't think
Okay.
I don't think he expected it, but that's the reality he's in right now.
But do you guys think that because Brandon got hired on a monthly salary that Jonah and Lee both got pissed and that's why they left?
I think Brandon Rose should make more money than those guys. He gets better results.
For sure. But I mean, imagine being Jonah Wilson and Lee Setzer. Both of them, I think Lee TQ'd PNB E-Buggy last year. Jonah qualified high in a lot of races last year,
And none
had
of them
some
won
decent-
none of them won a big race, and none of them constantly placed in the top 5.
Sure.
Neither
But
of
in
them.
their mind, they've been
Yeah, but in their
committed,
mind, they're
associated-
wrong.
I mean,
I know,
I
I
don't
know.
know,
They're
I don't know about
wrong.
I don't know about
they've
Lee,
been
but I
committed
know
to-
with Jonah, he was. I'm not sure if I could say this, but I know he wasn't getting a whole lot from AE in terms of support.
I don't think either him or Lee were getting a whole bunch of money from AE.
No, I'm not
Travel
talking about money.
expense.
I'm not just talking about
Period.
travel
Period.
money. I'm talking about
Yeah.
just general support.
Yeah, period. He probably felt like he wasn't getting what he deserved there.
Yeah.
And you have Spark,
but-
who has some money, and no one, especially with Cole leaving, that frees up some money. Like, I will guarantee that Lee Setzer wasn't making a lot of money at Associated at all.
Probably nothing. I don't
Probably
think
he was probably
made
getting
any
about, if he
salary.
was getting $500 a month from him, I don't know
Yeah.
what he's getting, right? But I don't think he was getting $1,500, $2,000
No.
a month from them. I think he's just, a lot of these people think these guys are living some glamorous RC life. These guys are they're like out there, I don't know, just raping by to chasing
No,
the
but-
dream, you know?
Yeah,
Stay
but,
in the
but don't you
trench.
guys think that
In the
it's not a
trenches.
Don't you guys think it's not a coincidence that Brandon Rose joins AE on a full-time deal, getting decent salary, and then Jonah Wilson joins Sparko late after SIC, and then Lee Setzer after a bad DNC leaves it to join the same team Jonah left for.
Well,
No way, no way was the Jonah and Lee both like, oh, I was happy at AE and then I have been planning to leave AE. I was unhappy at AE and been planning to leave for a long time. No, they was like, what the fuck? We've been on the team. We've been committed to this brand.
I get that
And
too.
some random guy from
No,
Texas
but
comes and
Max,
takes us.
I get that. But
I
he's
think-
getting better results than them.
Oh no, I know.
well,
I
we-
agree.
Racely basis.
Well, Lefty, I will say the last DNC that was not the case.
Well, it's going into this negotiations,
No,
the
no.
funny thing is that Sparko was negotiating with Brandon Rose at AMS. right
Yeah,
after
I know.
AMS.
Yeah, I
Right,
know.
trying to get him on the team, so he could have been there too. So you got,
Yeah.
I think the thing with Lee obviously comes down to they weren't expecting Cole to depart ways. So I think just things open up for Lee. I think Lee. So here's how I think. This is my opinion on this too, because we're talking about PNB. I think Jonah is 17, so he's looking for that help to go to these races to get to that next level, to probably get a proper paycheck or do this for a living, because he's still got a lot of time. Not a lot, but he's still young. Lee's 20, what you guys' age, I want to say, maybe a
24,
year
I
or
think.
two.
I think
Yeah, maybe a year younger than you guys. I think Lee takes this opportunity from Sparker. He's probably getting a decent paycheck, so he's going to get paid. He's going to get, he's probably getting some. He's probably got some other sponsors out there. But man, if he's making, from what I heard, Cole was maybe making about 2,000, maybe 2,500. That's what I hear. I don't know, but I would expect him around that 1,500 to 2,500 is what I expect him to make. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent with your travel money going around. You're still young. You're not got any kids and all that type of stuff. I think Lee just says, I'm going for it. Like, this is my chance. I got to go for it. I get the chance to be like on a team, a senior driver, and whatever happens. Because I think at some point he's going to reach that point where he's going to be like, how long can I continue going on being a professional RC car driver?
Yeah.
When a kid pops up.
Yeah, I mean, I agree totally from associates perspective. This is exactly the no way you're gonna give money to Setsa or Jonah from what they performed last year over Brandon Rose, especially. But still, like from their perspective, like let's say they didn't hire Rose, do you think either of them would have left? I don't think so. I actually don't think so.
No, Max, I'm fairly certain Jonah would have left.
But why did he leave so late though?
From what I understand, he was, because I know this is hearsay, but it's reliable hearsay. I've heard that they were already in talks with a couple different companies to change, because they were not necessarily happy because AE wasn't giving them money. It was because they weren't getting support from the AE team.
Okay. Maybe they felt everything was going to Spencer. This wouldn't be the first time it's happened. AE remember when Cav got suspended for a month for getting in an argument with the engineer because he said they were giving parts to Rivkin and not to him. Who knows? And also, I've asked. Remember, we said that we heard a big blow up happen at DNC if associated. I have not heard anything else about that since then. If it even happened or what happened or anything, I don't know.
I know for sure something happened because I asked people who were there, who was in the AE pits, and they was like, oh, I can't tell, or I won't tell.
It's me and kept very quiet.
They're doing what most online presenters and influencers should do when controversy comes up. Just don't talk about it. Don't bring attention to it.
But
don't talk about it. It'll go away.
Yeah.
Except for idiots like me who bring it up again.
Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't for people like us, the RC TMC, who people hate these days, and we are ruining RC, like if it wasn't for us, they would have gotten away with it. But we know for sure there was something. They're not telling us what, but there was something. We're seeing through their PR training.
Well, I'm excited for PNB. That's going to be next weekend, White Pine. It's going to be a big race. I'll be there. Come see me. Have fun. Who do you think is going to win? Put your top 3 for Nitro Buggy down there. Intermediates always section. In the comment section. Please. Sorry.
That algorithm.
Right, it boosts the algorithm, as Roach says. So comment your top 3 in the comments of the YouTube chat or Facebook if you're watching it. Also coming up after that, we have the Silver State Indoor Off-Road Championship 2025. That's also the same weekend as North Georgia Shootout. I'll be there at the North Georgia Shootout. We have Philippine Masters the following weekend in Cercle Verde, Manila. Just talking about that. And then I'll be in Portugal at the International Buggy Challenge in Barcelos, Portugal. A lot of people are using that for Euros warm-up and Worlds warm-up because the e-buggy Worlds are going to be there. So I'll be spending a week there. Then you have the INS Spring Carpet INS round coming up in Michigan, May 2nd to 4th at RC1 Racing. You have a couple of races. You've forgotten about. We have a lot of races. We got the Nationals coming up at Thornhill as well in June. And then we have the EFRA European Championships June 6th to 8th, which I think I'll be at, which I'm actually really excited. I've never been to a European Championship, so I'm really excited to go to one.
Oh, that's e-buggy.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, because the Nitro Buggy is the first weekend of July. Because you know what's happening is that Canas is probably going to come to Wicked Weekend now.
Yeah.
Because that's the race. I'm like, you're going to have a lot of fun there. You're going to get to shoot off some fireworks if it's good weather and barbecue and all that type of stuff. And I'm glad to see the Europeans coming over to these races. And a lot of them all want to come to AMS. So it's like Wicked Weekend, AMS. And hopefully they have a good experience at because what scares people at PNB is that, they think you're going for 24 hours. No, just practice is 24 hours. The racing isn't. Just the racing. But I'll be there. I look forward to it. It's been a while since I've been, SIC, since I've been to a big 8 scale race. So, and 2 years since I've been to PNB. Because this time last year, I was in Portugal. All right, up next is our Thought of the Week, brought to you by Elite RC, RC Project, and Mayako. A big shout out to RC Project and Stefano for all their support for 2025. These guys are absolute game changers, delivering next level products to boost your performance, from precision clutch systems to ultra durable shock caps and high quality tools. RC Project has everything you need to dominate the track. You can find their amazing products at Beach RC and A-Main Hobbies, or head over to their website, rc-project.it, to check out their full lineup. A massive thank you to Stefano and the team at RC Project for their support. And hey, show them some love, shows us some love, and an RC family. Go show Stefano and RC Project some love. All right, so I'm not going to be too long on this, but I'm going to give you guys a brief history lesson, because when I saw this, I was really excited because I haven't seen this video for so long. And then just looking at this was my era of RC, my special time, my safe place when RC was I was just an RC racing fan, traveling to the USA for the first time to some races. A lot of this film was filmed during the RC Pro Series, which was a series that went on during that time. I'm just going to put this on and play while we talk about it. So this race, this was filmed around 2004, 2005 during the Pro Series times, right? So 5-Spoke Films, Tony Newland and his business partners time, they put all their money into it. And I could just imagine how much and how long this took. It took a whole year, but I want you guys to look at some of the racing and the tires and the cars and the starting gates. This was such an awesome series that went nationwide, even to Puerto Rico, right? And all done by one guy, Carlton Epps. Like, he was at every race. Look at the big truggy tires.
Those are monster trucks.
Monster trucks. Those were the first truggies. Those were like the HP Lightnings and the native racing conversions. So, but look at the starting gates and all that stuff. They're very much primitive compared to the starting gates we had at RCGP, but they worked.
Sure, but those truggies that you saw, like monster trucks, that's the starting gate.
Yeah.
It's literally a gate. Yeah.
It's like,
That's a monster
really,
truck.
it's kind of like releasing bulls or something.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Exactly. The monster trucks, they should be like that. Like, truggy should be like that. But I do love the starting gate idea. It's so simple, but you just release the bulls and, try to get the cars going. It's actually pretty cool.
I think that's Sun Valley right there, or Hemet, one of the two. But this is my era. It was just 2004, 2005. You guys are 4 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm old. Look at the monster. There's a monster trucks there.
Those look so cool, Why can't we have cool things anymore?
Because racers
gas truck.
Gas trucks.
That's gas truck, yeah.
This was a good time.
Sun Valley Speedway.
Yep. I actually got to race there for the finals in 2005. So I did this series. I did Truggy and Buggy at Charlotte at the Farm 2. And then I wasn't planning on doing it, but I actually got to travel with a couple of guys from North Carolina, Pete Werf, and a couple of other guys, the Harringtons, out to Sun Valley for the finals. And trust me, guys, this is days before smartphones and all this type of stuff. We couldn't find a hotel. It was packed. It was people from all over the USA. Good times, man. This is a good time. So anyway, my point of all this was that we always hear about people saying we need a series. Well, this was a series in multiple different regions. This is just the west side. They had a west, they had a central, they had a southeast, they had a northeast, I think, or east coast. They might have just, I can't remember all the different regions. Max is just loving this. I'm looking at his face, freaking out at this. You can watch this whole video on Klinik RC, by the way. And what they did is at the end, they had a race where all like the people that qualified, if you did a race, you could go to the finals and enter in it and race against people and be crowned an overall champion. Look at that. That's gnarly. That's Aaron Waldron. Hold on. That was Waldron. That was Waldron.
It's a 45-minute video.
That's Aaron Waldron right there, and he's still racing. Marty Korn, he sent me a message the other day complaining about JQ, but I didn't want to answer it because
I remember he used to be one of the biggest JQ haters.
Well, he used to run the JQ car when it first came out.
Yeah. Yeah, but after that.
But look, this is look at all the stuff they got. There's Bobby Moore, there's Carlton. So here's the guy who made this happen. That dude did this single-handedly. He went to every race. He navigated every race around the country back in 2004. Like, I don't know how long he did it for, but did it for a few years. And he was so busy. He had help, but look, he's doing tech. He was doing this. He just ran around the whole America doing this. And this existed for a while. Obviously it stopped. He sold it, but there is a way to have a series. This is something that was rivaling. Like, this was big. Like, back in its day, this was big. And there was no coverage. Nothing like that. It was just people went. And it can be done. It can be done. And this is just
so cool that we have this footage too.
I know.
Like most of this old stuff, like, I mean, sure, some people made DVDs and so on, but like I've never seen this footage, but it's so cool.
You guys should go
see
watch
how
this.
many,
I
see how
did
many
watch it. I
baseball
remember-
caps.
You see how many baseball? Yeah. I remember I was talking with Tony. He had like all of the footage on a CD, and he was like, "I'm gonna burn it onto footage. I bet you don't even know what that is." And I actually kind of didn't because I've never done it before.
We
It
used
was
to
surprised
do
how
that
the
when we were
CD?
kids.
DVD.
Burn the CD, DVD, yeah, onto an
yeah.
actual hard drive, and it only took like a couple minutes because the whole footage was only like 28 megabytes because the resolution. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know
Yeah.
what P this was back then. Maybe 240.
Yeah.
That was 480.
480.
480 was top of the line back then. But look at the tracks. So awesome. Good days. This is the attitude era of RC. Lots of innovation came out of RC racing. And I would say this
I now remember why we had staggered starts at RCGP. So we had 6 and 6. Because looking at this, half the fucking grid can't make it through the front straight.
I thought it was
about it.
awesome.
It's funny.
Woo! Yeah,
Oh, this is
I
a new
think-
invention.
I know.
And they had
I think
diff
one
wheels.
track actually
Well, some of
has
them
where
had
you
diff
have
wheels.
spokes.
Yeah.
Look how rough the track is. Wow. Good times, man. Good times. That was my heyday
Oh,
of RC.
shut hell.
There's Gary Guest. He was fast back then. There's Smolnik. He's still racing.
This is so
Um,
aggressively early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's both amazing and revolting at the same time.
You mean like with the frosted tips and sunglasses and all that type of stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no volume, but I can just hear some like Backstreet Boys and Offspring.
Yes,
and,
it is.
and,
It is.
and something like that in the background.
No, but it has really cool music in the background. But I just wanted to show you guys this as a little history lesson, and maybe people that haven't have maybe just gotten into RC. But here's a great video. You can go check it out. This is what I refer to as the attitude era. If it wasn't for things like this happening in videos like this, we wouldn't be where we are coverage wise. Imagine this is what coverage was, and it took months to get this. So
Yeah.
years.
It was some guy videotaping it, and then 20 years after, some idiot on the podcast showing it again. That's how what coverage was.
Well, no, man.
No lives.
No, but when these came out, they sold. You will buy them off the magazines, and you could buy them. Internet buying was just coming along. It was just hitting its peak.
You go to a
And
hobby
you could
shop,
buy
you
this.
pick up the magazine. It came with the DVD.
That too.
Really?
This is-
The magazines came with the DVD?
no, not if this.
Oh.
Not,
Not this one, but some of them did.
ooh, he snapped the front end off that phone.
Broken arm.
Good stuff. Early days of Truggy. Lots of innovation going on the Truggy these days. Tire size, converting buggies. This is Charlie Mack. This is when I was racing Truggy. Charlie Mack was still 9 years old. Charlie, this is what, 20 years ago? Charlie was 15. Charlie about 34. So recognize me, Charlie Mack, as a Truggy elder. Truggy elder. I was.
Did you say witness me or
No, recognize me like Roman Reigns as a Truggy elder. So there's I wonder what happened to Carlton. If anybody knows where Carlton Epps is, if he's in contact, I would love to interview this man. I really would. Because what he did was amazing. I can't believe he was able to do all of that. One man. So yeah, you know what? We can have a series. We have the AB series going on. We've had RCGP showing. The only thing is now, I think we're going to have a virtual series because to have something like RC Pro Series nowadays would be hell. Because that was back in the day when it wasn't a big race every weekend. So,
I mean, I found him.
You did?
I think so. He's got the same beard and mustache, but I'm not going to show it on the podcast because it's a personal thing.
Yeah, well, I'll track him down on Facebook. So you guys like all that trip down memory lane? You know, showing you young bucks how it was back in my day, 20 years ago.
I make videos about history and RC, Lefty. I'm fine.
Yeah, but you haven't made no cool history on 8-scale racing RC, just 10-scale
Not yet.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just 10-scale stuff, yeah.
Well, you know what? You can make a cool RC Pro Series history video.
That's actually a really good idea.
I was thinking of doing it, but you're better at it.
Yeah.
I want to
probably-
use it to why we can still have a series.
I think. Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
think we could call it the baseball cap era of RC or frosted tips era of RC.
Oh, there's glasses. What was this last?
Yeah,
had a
I don't
pair.
know
I had
what
a
those
couple
are
pairs.
called. Yeah.
If you still rocking those glasses nowadays, oof. Go back to that. Go back to 2004, 2005.
Yeah, baseball cap on backwards and those glasses, and yeah, something's either wrong with you or you're
The
still living.
MTV era. I'll call
Great
it.
times.
Yeah.
Great times in 8-scale racing. If it wasn't for those times there, we wouldn't 8-scale racing wouldn't be where it is now. Good times. Go check them out. Klinik RC, 5-spoke, do it in the dark. We hope you guys enjoy. You guys got anything to add? Thought of the day? We went for a trip. Look at you, all bored from that trip down memory lane.
No, I loved it.
I know you did.
I'm gonna go when we end this podcast. I'm just gonna go watch the whole.
I'm sure you're
45-minute
not.
video.
Your girlfriend's
I already
fine.
watched it.
I watched it already. I watched it when it came out.
I was 5. You
2000 what?
can't put that on me.
I was 27.
I bet they didn't ship that shit to Finland. So
I bet you somebody in Finland has it. Just like all those Ray Wood
Probably.
videos, all the Ray Wood DVDs of the Worlds. The only way you could watch Worlds back in the day.
Yeah.
He's still
the
alive.
import taxes on that shit.
He's still alive. Anyway, it was a great chat with you guys. Roach, I'm glad you made it through the whole session this time, and we've watched your swelling and your allergies
It's gone
slowly.
down.
It has gone down, so
I
that's
feel
always
so much
good.
better.
That's a good thing. Max, thank you
You're
for your
welcome.
time as well. We're gonna try and figure out how we can do a podcast after PNB. We gotta figure that out.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be meeting up after PNB and talking about why
Mhm.
can S1 again. So
I would not be surprised if he won. I'm just being honest. I'm rooting. I'm Team Fuller.
The thing is, I was listening to Lance say why Canas is not gonna win. He's like, oh, he's because he's gonna try and practice 24/7. I was like, no, he's not. No, he's not.
He's gonna be smart.
He's gonna be smarter than that.
yeah.
He's gonna be smart. I think he could win too, personally. But I'm all about Team Fuller. Team Fuller. That's my
Yeah.
imaginary Fuller flag.
I have to say,
I'm gonna
either me
tune
or
in for
Fed's gonna
the-
win because I don't want to eat another hot pepper.
You already got to eat one, and that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're waiting for them to grow. Okay, give me some.
No, we can go buy them.
Yes, but it's
We're
not
not
as
waiting for them
fresh.
to grow.
Yeah,
Alright.
we
Or it's
want
hot.
all natural,
All right.
All natural, grown straight from my mother's garden.
Well, I will say that I enjoyed having a
That
chat with
sounded
you
so
guys.
wrong.
It only. Oh my god!
More editing.
I'm
Thanks,
not-
Max. Thanks, Max. More editing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Why would you have
Check-
edited that?
I don't know. But we're going to end this because we're going for 2 hours already, 30 minutes over our schedule. He was only supposed to go 90 minutes. Of course, Max does not listen to safe words, and that's what happens. Once again,
You
Roach?
can't put this on me. You know, you was geeking out about the frosted tips era of RC. Not
you
on
was there
me.
smiling.
Not
You was
on
there
me.
smiling. You was there smiling.
They
was the
couldn't
spot.
see it
Anyway,
in the background.
Roach, thank you for your time. Good buddy. See you at PNB. Max, thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody out there, for the support. We greatly appreciate all you guys' support. NNRC squad. Hope you guys are good. My new sticker packs has that on it. So you guys get some stickers at PNB. Limited time. They only have a limited bit.
Oh yeah.
And then just because I get to record this, I saw that my sticker place was on fire this morning. I literally went there yesterday, got the stickers from it, and it's on fire. Just remember, I was like, hey, this place is on fire. So hopefully they get that fixed so I can get some more stickers when I get back. Anyway,
you just worried for your stickers. The man lost his livelihood, and you just
well, I want them to make
My
more
stickers.
Well, I need to get my awesome boats wrapped too. And we was talking about that. So I hope he gets everything. I hope he doesn't lose everything. That's what I'm saying. She's some smacks.
So you can get stickers, not that.
So everybody can get stickers. If you want stickers, you can get them too. You know? So this man can make his living. So I can get my boats wrapped. So I can get stickers to give away to people.
Yeah. But most importantly, the boats.
Most important.
Well, getting boats wrapped is important.
Yes.
Gotta have cool looking boats. Hopefully he didn't lose everything, but that fire didn't look.
Hopefully the boat wraps didn't burn.
Well, he hasn't made them yet, Max. We got to design all that stuff. See, I'm trying to end this podcast and just keep on going. Just keep on going. Shakies.
Dude, are they even paying us? Like, I think at this point they should be paying us.
Thank you, NNRC squad around the world. We greatly appreciate you guys' support. Don't forget to hit that sub, like, notification button. And yes, we greatly appreciate that. Big shout out to the patrons and channel members. You guys get early access of this. If you wish to support this a little bit further, you can. Links for that in the written description. It definitely helps me out. Go over to Roach's Patreon on his YouTube channel. Help him out as well to make cool content. And if you want me,
both 10K.
Yeah, well, he's definitely going to be there very soon, and I really want him to get there. I just want to get 7 right now. That's my goal.
You're less than 750 away.
That's right. He even knows more than me. I don't even know how much.
Actually, no, less than 250. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought. I was like, I think it's less than that.
Yes, less than that. I was looking at mods.
I wonder how much I have.
Well, you haven't made any videos for a long time. You've probably lost subscriptions, being as you've been pissing off everybody. You've definitely lost subscriptions.
No.
You've definitely lost us some subscriptions here on the podcast.
Keenan, I think the issue is you're biased against the negative feedback. I think more people love me than hate me, and that's how it is. Sometimes the loud minority, they say, "Oh, I cannot take this man because he only likes the Europeans." I like the Americans. I was geeking out of the frosted tips thing. Backwards baseball cap, all that. Bring that back, Americans. Jeremy Cords, Greg Degani, Mark Pavidis.
We do have all that.
Heroes. We don't have that anymore.
Well, we actually, I forgot to mention this, but the Clash is going on, and they have all those cool guys racing this weekend. Not Degani and those guys. So good luck to them at Hoosier. Anyway, let's end this. Wrap this up, guys.
I'm like
Shakies.
What's it called? It was better before. Make American racing great again. That's what I'm here for. I'm the MAGA of the US RC scene. Yeah.
Thank you to everybody that supports us via Patreon and channel members. We greatly appreciate it. And a big shout out to all the companies that support this. Remember, everybody, we have links for all of these companies in the written description. They are J Concepts, HiTec, Sidewinder, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Hot Race Tires, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, BeachRC.com, Racecraft USA, Klinik RC, and Get Shit Done Coffee. We also have some affiliate links for other companies and affiliate companies in the written description. Help us, help you save some money, and help us represent these companies. We thank you all for your support. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Roach. From Lefty the Great, Max, who has pissed me off today, and RC Roach Man. I want to thank you all for the support. Nitro's glory. E-Buggy pays the bills.
We gotta get the emotion out of you, Keenan. That's
and you know what? we're gonna just silence you right now.